After I did my sweater to mitten project, I had a few requests for some instructions on how to do these flowers that I put on the mittens. And these little felt flowers are super easy. This technique that I'm going to show you is for felt, something that doesn't ravel. There's also a technique to do something very similar with, say, like a woven fabric that does ravel. If you would like to see that, please just drop a comment and say, hey, I'd really like to see how you do the woven fabric flowers, and I'll be happy to do that. So let's get started. Okay, so here are the things that you're going to need for this project. You're going to need some kind of marker. I use these Crayola washable markers for all my sewing. You're going to need a button, and I bought this packet of tons of buttons for like $5 at Walmart because I always seem like I'm looking for buttons. So this will be lots of projects worth. You'll need scissors. Fabric scissors are great, but if you're like me, someone always uses my fabric scissors for paper. And then you'll need some kind of thread. It needs to be really strong. So I use embroidery thread because you're gonna have to pull hard on it to make the flowers crinkle. So embroidery thread won't break. You'll need, of course, your fabric, which this is the wool sweater that I found at the thrift store and felted, which just means I washed it and put it in the dryer several times so that it won't ravel anymore. And then you're going to need something to trace around. I'm going to use this baking powder can, just something round. And last but not least, you're going to need some kind of needle. And this is the needle that I'm going to use. It has a really big eye, and it's actually not a sharp needle. You don't need a sharp needle for felt, and it just saves your fingertips. So the first thing we're going to do is cut our fabric. Now, I don't think that this ribbed part will work for flowers. It might. I haven't tried it. But I think the best parts for flowers are these little felt areas. So let me go ahead and, oops. Oh, wait. The most important part, if you're old like me, is your reading glasses so you can see what you're doing. Here we go. Okay. So I like to do odd numbers of petals. I'm going to do 5, which just means that I just need 2 of these. I think I can get them both out of here, because each one makes 4. I could do 7 petals too. The more petals you put on, the bigger button you're going to need, because there's only so much you can compress the fabric. So we're just going to cut around. Cut both of these out. Okay. Oh, well, that wasn't a very good cut, was it? There we go. Scraps. You know, you can compost wool, so I'll throw those in the compost pile. That's the one great thing about using natural fabrics, is you can compost them. Now, the next step in this is we're going to cut these into quarters. So you just fold it in half, put your scissors in, and just give it a snip. And this is not like a precision thing. You know, flowers, nature is seldom perfectly symmetrical. So it's okay if it's a little wobbly and funky. just, okay. There we go. Really don't need to cut this one in quarters, but I think I'm going to make a hair tie with several. So now we have our pieces. There's 4. Let's do 5 petals. So the next step is to thread our needle. The thread doesn't really have to match because you don't see it much, but it does make it easier. All right, and this is why we use a needle with a big eye, theoretically. It's very hard to thread a needle with all these. Okay, here we go. And you don't need a knot or anything, but I do put one in because there's nothing more frustrating than getting the 5th petal on and then accidentally pulling too far. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take our needle and basically we're going to pleat this. So in and out just along this edge. I like to end with an up, but it doesn't really make that much difference. And pull it down. So we'll do all of these like that. So this is, you can do so much with these little flowers. They're just super cute. Like I said, I like to use odd numbers. It just seems like most flowers have odd number petals and it just looks better. So, you know, 5, 7. I've never tried to do a 9-petaled one. I have done 6-petal ones and they're okay, but I don't think they're as pretty as the odd numbers. 1, 2 more. And then once I get this done, you will see why you need really strong thread. 1 more. This wool is so amazing to work with. So if you like going to thrift stores, especially this time of year, because like the sweaters are all kind of on sale, I guess, you know, because spring's coming, you might want to look for some wool. But if you're like me, you have to take your glasses or you won't be able to see the tags. Okay, so we have these all strung on. I know it doesn't look like much. Now we can take this needle. Well, yeah. Take off the needle. And we're just going to push them together. And this is why you need such strong thread. So here we go. The other real advantage of using embroidery thread for this is it is not slick. So once you get this tied up, here we go. Yeah, you can start to see it. Once you get this tied, it doesn't let go. Like if you use a polyester thread or a real slick thread, it's very hard to keep it tight when you pull it tight. And this doesn't want to slip like those do. And then we're just going to tie a regular old square knot to hold it. There we go. And then one more. I'm going to put one more knot in. Now, if you use more than 5 petals, like 7 or 9, you might end up with a hole here. It's because it's very hard to get it that compacted. But you just use a bigger button. So let's give this a clip. One more. And I might have enough thread. No. Nothing worse than running out of thread. So I'm going to just go ahead and get some more. And here we go. Let's thread this needle again. Again, for felt, you don't need anything sharp. For the woven ones, maybe a little sharper. Come on. Okay. So now we got to pick out a button. Let's see. What do you think? This one? Yeah, that one's kind of boring. How about... Ooh, this one's kind of nice. Eh. That was really boring. I don't know what I'm going to do with these little tiny buttons. I guess we're going to go with this one. We could do this one. Which one would you have picked? I think I'm going to go with this one. But actually, since the knot's over here, I'm going to go ahead and do this side. And you can flip these petals around however you want them. That's the cool thing about felt, is it's pretty obedient, especially wool. And here we go. I'm going to actually start here. That way I don't have to worry about where my knot is. You're going to have to excuse the fumbling because this whole doing it with the camera right here is a little new to me. What do you think? I think we're good. And then you simply, let's do a crisscross. Crisscross applesauce, right? Find that other hole. Nope. Nope. This is why it's nice to have a dull needle, because then you don't end up with bleeding fingers at the end. So, and we really only need to go into each hole twice with this heavy. I mean, basically you have, I don't know, 6 threads or something in this one thread. So this one goes here. One more. Let's get it here. And down here. Let's go a little further. Just to pull that in. Oops. All right. And now we have our flower. Let's go ahead and make sure everything's tight. Give this one little stitch. Come back around, second stitch. And then we're going to knot it. And there is our flower. Now, if you want to, you can press this to do different things. These make super cute hair accessories, just like sew a little clippy or a bobby pin on the back, and they're super cute. So, and I think that's what I'm going to do with this one. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you'd like to see the woven cloth version of this. And thank you for watching.